IR, infrared light. What do we need to know about that?
Yeah, we're going to start with far red actually. So infrared is effectively heat. It's not photosynthetic, so it doesn't cause plant growth. And infrared is what we'd look at with an infrared camera, where we'd see basically radiation coming off a surface, so you can get night vision and all that sort of stuff. You can see in the dark. Infrared is beyond 750 nanometers. Far red is just beyond red. It's actually a very deep red. Far red LEDs at 730 nanometers, you can see them glowing a sort of a very deep red. They don't look bright, but you can definitely see that there's light coming from them. So they're still in the visible spectrum as well. They're not as photosynthetically efficient as red. So again, adding far red diodes, if you wanted to get more growth, you would just simply add more white or red diodes. However, there is a belief that adding far red will somehow boost the other spectrum that you have in the power spectrum. And again, there's a bit of a misuse around the Emerson effect. And the Emerson effect is really a complementary effect that using different grow light spectrum will have on the overall rate of photosynthesis, the amount of growth that you'll get from that lighting system. It doesn't. There is a very small benefit to adding a small bit of far red in with red. It'll complement the red and free up a little bit more of the red photons to be active. So it'll boost the efficiency of the red, but it's literally I can't remember the exact figure, but somewhere around 5% or something. And it's only if you use a small amount of far red. Far red is not like red or green. It's like blue in that it has this effect on plant development as well as growth, and it has the opposite effect of blue. So far red, too much of it will cause plant stretching. It'll cause cell expansion and plants to stretch. And that's a bit like blue, where you want a minimum of 5% to keep plants dense. At far red, you don't really want more than 5%, or you'll start to see stretching. Now, you can balance it off with blue, but then you're into sort of a war with the blue and the far red. Most LEDs, if you look at their grow light spectrum charts, there'll be a little tail or little at the end of the curve will go beyond the 700 nanometers, beyond the red into far red. Most white LEDs will emit about 2 or 3% far red anyway. So you don't, again, in my view, there's a misconception that adding far red LEDs is going to give this extraordinary boost to the effectiveness of the rest of the photons, of the other, the red, the green, and the blue photons. But it's only a very marginal effect, and one that you would get from almost every grow light anyway. And adding additional far red LEDs is, in my view, counterproductive, in that you're now having to add more blue in order to balance that off so your plants don't stretch. So if you want more growth, more power, just more power, keep it in the straight and narrow between the 400 and the 700, and in particular in the red area, because as I said, that's more electrically and photosynthetically efficient.
This clip is brought to you by AC Infinity. Use discount code MrGrow at 15 to save on any of their products.